Be in the know with unlimited access to IBJ and Inside Indiana Business. Our in-depth coverage of all things business means you'll always be completely in the know. Subscribe for just $1 a week. Get started now at ibj.com/trial offer.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the morning of Thursday, February 12th, 2026. I'm Alex Brown. The city of Portage on Wednesday unveiled its plan for Halas Harbor, a $5 billion lakefront stadium and entertainment district designed to attract the Chicago Bears to Northwest Indiana. Mayor Austin Bonta described the project as a shovel-ready, fully privately financed development requiring no taxpayer funds.
When the Bears announced that the entire Chicagoland area was being looked at as a potential site for the stadium, our team understood that we had an obligation to fans, our city, and to the Bears to offer them the best site available with a realistic proposal to get the Bears to this incredible opportunity, this world-class site we now call Halas Harbor. We have the land, we have the water, we have the location, we have the financing and the local leadership ready to embark on a major development. We have sensitivity to affordability and to the burdens on taxpayers. We have worked diligently to accomplish maximum results with minimum taxpayer impact. It's a major advantage to our plan.
The city said shovels could be in the ground as early as June 2026 if the Bears elect to move forward. Daniel Killeen, general manager of U.S. Steel's Gary Works, said this week that the steelmaker is set to invest $900 million in the Northwest Indiana steel mill in 2026. It's part of a $3.1 billion commitment previously made by new U.S. Steel parent Nippon Steel. Killeen added the company expects to create 1,000 jobs over the next several years as well. Indiana has received its first payment for housing federal immigration detainees at the Miami Correctional Facility in northern Indiana to the tune of $1.17 million. The Indiana Department of Corrections said Wednesday the payment is for 4,040 ICE beds at a rate of $291.24 a day for October. Payments for subsequent months are expected in the coming weeks, the agency said. The money is in addition to a $6 million upfront payment the department received for facility preparation. Indiana's State Budget Committee in September approved $16 million for facility upgrades. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick, coming to you this week from Northwest Indiana, Jeffersonville, Muncie, South Bend, in downtown Evansville, Terre Haute, Fort Wayne, Richmond, from one of the state's key entrepreneurial and innovation hubs, 16 Tech. Inside Indiana Business, Indiana's business news leader.
An Indiana man has sued U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi and Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem for allegedly targeting an app his company developed to track and store videos of federal law enforcement operations.
Brown County resident Mark Hodges is the founder of Cryzal Group, a New Mexico-based company that describes itself as aiming to preserve evidence of governmental abuses of power. Hodges argues Bondi and Noem violated his constitutional free speech rights after they allegedly strong-armed Apple into delisting an immigration and customs enforcement monitoring app he developed called Eyes Up, which allows users to store and view videos of ICE activity nationwide. The lawsuit was filed Wednesday by the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, or FIRE, a nonpartisan nonprofit organization emphasizing individual rights in the U.S. District Court of the Northern District of Illinois. The lawsuit seeks a ruling that Bondi and Noem violated the First Amendment and requests that the court halt them from taking similar actions in the future. DHS Assistant Secretary of Public Affairs Tricia McLaughlin told the Indiana lawyer that ICE tracking apps are a method to interfere with law enforcement activities and harbor illegal aliens, both of which are separately illegal. FIRE now alleges that Bondi and Noem pressured Apple to remove the Eyes Up app from its online store, saying the actions were blatantly unconstitutional. Abriana Herron, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Indianapolis-based AES Indiana on Wednesday announced its new Petersburg Energy Center in Pike County is now in service. The project includes 250 megawatts of solar generation and 180 megawatt hours of energy storage at the existing Petersburg generating station. According to the company, the solar component is made up of more than 515,000 panels and is capable of generating enough electricity to power more than 100,000 homes. The battery storage system is designed to help manage peak energy demand and market volatility while reducing long-term fuel and operating costs. Sporting news columnist Mike DeCourcy is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.
From broadcast to podcast, Inside Indiana Business with Gary Dick is now available anytime on YouTube or in your podcast feed. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcast or at ibjpodcast.com.
The IBJ Media Podcast Network is the soundtrack of a growing state. Indiana is on the move, and you can hear it happening on the IBJ Media Podcast Network. We bring you the voices at the center of our economy, our courts, our companies, and our communities. Subscribe now and be part of the conversation that's building Indiana's future. Find all of our shows by searching IBJ Media in your podcast app or visit ibjpodcasts.com.